Mama.
Welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad you're here. This video is going to be twofold. I wanted to kind of touch on two different topics. The first being refinancing mortgages in Jamaica, and I'll get more detail on that in a minute. And then also selecting a real estate agent to help you in a new development, get a home in a new development. So those are kind of two topics for today. So I wanted to start out with these loans. So as you guys know, we own a few homes in Jamaica, and we got a letter. It's actually from June, but I just kind of got around to looking at it or thinking about it in the last month or so. So I wanted to share this information with you guys. One of the loans that we have is through JN, and it's a loan that we've had about 6 or 7 years, and it was at the time, the interest rate when we got the loan was 8.5%. And we got this letter in June saying that they were going to raise the interest rate on us to 9.25%. So from what I understand, different people I've talked to, I talked to Nicola James, who is a mortgage broker and knows a lot about kind of what's going on in the market down there and with the banks. So based on all the information I have, it is up to the individual banks whether or not they want to raise interest rates on existing loans. So what happens is when the Bank of Jamaica, so like the national bank, raises their rates, typically the other banks will follow. They will raise their rates a few months later or the next quarter, whatever the case may be. So one interesting thing I also learned is because I'm coming from the US, so buying houses in the US and mortgages and interest rates and things, how they're set up in the US, it's a bit different in Jamaica, and I did not realize this when we got this first house. So this is good for you guys to know if you have an existing loan or you're thinking about getting a loan for a new house. They have adjustable rates, interest rates in Jamaica, and then they have fixed rates. So when you go to get a new loan, the fixed rate is going to be a higher interest rate. The adjustable rate, you will start out with a lower interest rate. However, they can adjust it as time goes on. What they don't tell you is that the fixed rate, it's written into the fine print of your mortgage, the fixed rate, they can actually increase. So if you have a mortgage with a fixed rate, it's not exactly fixed. So what happens is people have gotten fixed rates for their mortgage, but then their interest rate is increasing anyway. So you started out with a higher interest rate thinking you were doing the smart thing, because over time, interest rates tend to go up over a long period of time. So you think you're doing the right thing getting the fixed rate because it will stay stagnant. However, it ends up changing. So I was talking to Nicola James about this, and I said, so if I have somebody who's getting a new loan, what would you recommend? If a fixed rate is not actually fixed and can increase, then wouldn't it be more beneficial for somebody to get an adjustable rate that starts off lower and then, yes, may increase over time, but if the fixed rate is going to increase anyway, it would be better to start off with a lower interest rate and have that savings up front and possibly for a longer time. So that was kind of what I was talking to her about. And so after talking to her, I thought, okay, if I were to get a new loan for a home in Jamaica, I would get an adjustable rate, because you will end up getting a lower interest rate to begin. And then if for some reason it is increased, okay, you have an increase. If you get a fixed rate, you're going to start off with a higher interest rate, And if the Bank of Jamaica increases its rates, the other banks will subsequently do the same thing. So your fixed rate is going to go up anyway. So of course, do your own research. I always say, please do your own research and make up your own mind about this. But I'm kind of the mind that I would get an adjustable rate for the lower interest rate. And then as the increases come, they just come. That happens in life, right? So the other thing I want to talk about, just the actual numbers here. So like I said, the original rate that we had was 8.5%, and now they are raising the rate to 9.25%. So 0.75% higher than what it was. Now, if we take those numbers, 8.5 to 9.25, and compare it to someone getting a brand new loan today. So if I was going to go buy a new house today and I needed a mortgage, what would be my interest rate? It would be around 7.25%. So we're looking at paying 2% more for an existing loan that we've always paid on time, have great credit, all this stuff. We're going to pay 2% more than if I was buying a new house today. So that begs the question, would it be smart to refinance this loan to get a 7% or 7.25% interest rate? So that is always an option if you have a loan to refinance. That's something, that we do here in the US. I assume they do that in Canada and the UK as well. So if you live in those areas, you're probably familiar with the idea behind this. So you can refinance the amount that you owe and get the lower interest rate. So we could essentially get 2% off on the interest. So this is something I'm kind of looking into to see if it would be beneficial for this particular loan and the amount that's owed and the time factor and all that. So that's all things that you kind of have to consider when you're thinking about refinancing. So I wanted to let you guys know, if you have an existing loan and maybe you've received a similar little letter from your bank letting you know that your interest rate is going up and you're interested in refinancing, you can definitely reach out to me to do that. I will put a link in the description where you can get all the information you need to refinance. So there's some information that we would collect. And as you guys know, I work closely with Nicola James, who is a mortgage broker. So what I do is I help collect the information, organize it for her, and then send it off to her so she can do the analysis through the various banks to see which rate would be best for your situation and how much you're looking to borrow and things like that. So we can look at that. And then also part of that information you would send is your latest statement from the mortgage that you owe. So we can see what's left on the mortgage, what the current interest rate is, to see if refinancing would actually be beneficial to you and worth the time to do it. So if that's something you guys are interested in, I will put the link down in the description so you can take a look at the requirements that you would have to do and a form that you would need to fill out to move forward with that if that's something that you're interested in. So on to our next subject, picking a real estate agent. So this whole journey with this YouTube channel and buying real estate in Jamaica has been very interesting for my husband and I personally, because, when we started out, we just wanted a vacation house. We wanted a retirement house to live in when we retire. And we thought, hey, why not get a house now that we can enjoy and use until we retire? Why wait till we're at that age to have something in Jamaica? So that's how it started. And then we realized what an amazing investment it was. And this has kind of grown from there and adding different properties and things like that. So part of buying in Jamaica, and I know a lot of you are probably looking at new developments. There are a lot of good resales in Jamaica, by the way. And I can help you out with that if that's something you're interested in. But a lot of times people are buying in new developments because there's a big allure there, especially if you're coming from overseas. Myself, not being from Jamaica, I liked initially, especially when we bought the first house, I liked the idea of a new development because they're gated. You have that sense of security that you might not have in a community that's not gated. So that's a big deal when most people are buying in Jamaica. So they tend to flock to these new developments. So some things to know about new developments, just in general, not one development specifically, but just in general. Some of the developers work with real estate agents. Some of them use real estate agents to bring in clients. Now, some of the developers, Chemtech being one, Gore being another, they do not use real estate agents because if you're aware of what's going on with both Chemtech and Gore, they will build 1,000 houses and they have them sold in a matter of a week. So they do not need real estate agents to bring in business. So they don't pay commission to real estate agents. They don't really accept business through real estate agents because they can get the clients on their own, because they have the notoriety. People are familiar with Chemtech and Gore, and everybody's watching to see what's coming next. Like, for example, right now, Chemtech and Portmore, everybody's waiting for those 2,500 houses to be released so that they can get in on the first phase. So, and same thing with Gore. Gore has a waiting list for phase 4 and 5 of their houses that's over 4,000 people on the wait list. And then phase 6 is going to be 30 some odd townhouses, and they have a wait list of over 100 people. And they've actually closed out all of these wait lists because they just have too many names, and they feel like they have enough people that they'll sell all the houses and they won't have a problem moving the houses. So when you work with some of the other developers, Manuka, for example, which is the developer who built Pyramid Point, they do work with real estate agents. So if you have a real estate agent that you're working with and you want to work through them to get a home in a new development, which can really be beneficial if you're overseas, because a real estate agent can go to the development, see what's going on with construction. If you have certain questions, they can help you get answers from the developer, maybe easier than just an individual calling the developer or the sales office to get information. Because if you've ever made a call or sent an email to a sales office in Jamaica, you know it can take time to get an answer back, or you just don't get an answer at all. I, for example, sent actually, there's 2 instances. I sent a message to a real estate agent about resale. I still haven't heard back. It's been over 2 weeks, so I've been following up. And then I sent a message to a developer about a new development, trying to get information for a subscriber, and I still haven't heard back, and that's been probably a week and a half. So I continue following up with them, and I try to go different avenues. You know, Nicola is really good at getting information as well. And then also our real estate attorney, she knows a lot of people in Jamaica, so she can sometimes get us in a back door where, you know, I can't get any information. So that's very helpful. But when you're picking a real estate agent, guys, I want you to understand how it kind of works, because I think some people are confused about how it works with the new developments. So if you're working with a developer that does use real estate agents, the way it works is if the real estate agent makes the initial contact with the developer about a home, then you can work with that real estate agent. If you, as an individual, make the initial contact with the developer on your own, then you're automatically going to have to work directly with the developer, and a real estate agent really can't help you. Because what happens is the developer, say I go to a developer on my own. There's a new development and I'm interested in it. And I call the developer and I say, hey, I'm Jessica. I want to inquire about your 3-bedroom homes. And they say, okay, your name is Jessica and this is your email address and this is your phone number. You automatically go in their system as someone who is inquiring about the home. So they may send me some information and things like that, and I might move forward with that. So on the other hand, if you use a real estate agent and the real estate agent takes your information and the real estate agent goes directly to the developer, they will get the same information for you, but then they will also be there to help you on the ground. And like, for example, Nicola James, she's gone to different developments and taken pictures and videos and asked questions and different things like that. So a lot of times it helps to have someone there on the ground in Jamaica to help you with some of these things, because they tend to get a better response and a more timely response from the developers. So if you are looking to buy in a new development and you think it would be beneficial to have that help on the ground, if you have a real estate agent already, reach out to them, have them do some background checks on the development and get some information for you, and have them submit your name to the developer. If you're looking for a real estate agent, Nicola James is great. I work with her company, Allied Real Estate, as an overseas consultant. So I help people buy real estate in Jamaica and give them information like I'm giving to you now. So if that's something you're interested in, feel free to send me an email or leave a comment. And I want to just share a scenario with you guys that I actually came across. I think it was a couple weeks ago. A subscriber reached out to me, and she is buying a new house and a new development, and she has already started working with a real estate agent. And this particular real estate agent, she said, was good in the beginning and responsive, but now she can't get a hold of him and she can't get a hold of his assistant either. So what has happened is this real estate agent realizes that this individual is buying a house. They are moving forward with the house. They've submitted all their information. They've paid their deposit. It's moving forward. This is going to happen. And the real estate agent realizes that, and he's going to get paid regardless of the level of service that he offers. And keep in mind, when you're buying these new developments, it can take 12 to 18 months to from the time you put in your deposit up until the time you get your home. So that's a long time to work with a real estate agent. So when you're picking someone, make sure it's someone that you've either worked with before and you know and you trust, or if you need someone to work with, Nicola James is great. And I obviously work with people alongside her as well. So I try to be as responsive as possible, keeping in mind that all the information is coming from Jamaica. So there might be a delay on that side, but I try to keep people up to date as best I can on what's going on and what the current status is. So keep that in mind when you're picking a real estate agent. Make sure it's somebody you know or somebody that you feel will be responsive, because once you're locked in with a real estate agent in a new development, you can't switch real estate agents. It's not like when you're selling your home and you can say, well, you're not doing the best job for me, so I'm going to go find someone else. Or if you're buying a home, a resale, you can use whatever agent you want. You can, as long as you don't have something in writing or some binding contract, you can go find another real estate agent. It's a little different with the new developments. Once a real estate agent takes your name to the developer, you're kind of locked in with them, and another real estate agent can't act on your behalf. So this individual that is working with this real estate agent that is not responsive reached out to me and said, could you help me with this? And when I looked into it a little more, Nicola and I realized that there was another real estate agent involved, and that we couldn't contact the developer on the behalf of that individual because we weren't the real, Nicola wasn't the real estate agent that they were working with. So it's good things to know kind of how things work and the best way to position yourself to get the most information, the most timely and accurate information. And just make sure that you're working with somebody that you can trust and that will try to keep you up to date as much as possible on what's going on. And like I said, it's a long process. It can be 12 to 18 months before you get your house. So you want to work with somebody who's going to be there with you through the different steps and the different things that need to be done and help you, not only in the beginning, but through the whole process until you receive your house and make sure everything is good on that side. So something to think about, guys. If you're interested in having a real estate agent, either for resale or new development, feel free to reach out to me. And we will get you hooked up with Nicola James. She's very good. And then also on the refinancing, if you have a current mortgage and you are looking to refinance, I'll put the link in the description below. And then of course, if you're looking for a new house and need a new mortgage, we can help you there as well. So let me know if you guys have any questions, comments, feedback, if you've experienced something similar, or maybe you're working with somebody that has offered great service and you've never had an issue. So be very interested to hear you guys' feedback, and I'll see you next time.
Sidehustlemama.